Hey everybody, welcome to the training webinar today on creating your own tracks in Ableton Live. We're going to get started in about 5 minutes, so hang tight, grab a cup of coffee, introduce yourselves in the chat window, let us know where you're from, let us know what you do with music, if you produce music currently or just getting going. We will get started here very soon. We'll be back. Well, hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to the training today on creating your own tracks in Ableton Live. My name is Matt McCoy, and I'm the founder of loopcommunity.com. And today we're going to show you how to create your own tracks in Ableton Live and how to record. And we're going to be making a track together for the song Good Good Father. I don't know if you've heard of that one before, but it's a great song, and we're going to build a track together from scratch. So I'm going to be doing the first portion of this training, and then Jansen is going to come in and do the second half. So at Loop Community, first of all, at Loop Community, we sell and distribute tracks for songs. And so if you create your own tracks, you can upload them to Loop Community and then sell them. And every time they sell, you make money. So this is a great webinar for you, because you can learn how to create your own track, how to export it, and how to put it on the site and make money from that. So what we're going to do is we're really focusing on Ableton Live today. And I have a song here. This is Good Good Father. And what we're going to do is we're going to first kind of get our session set up so that we're ready to record. Now there's kind of just some cleanup and some things you want to do at the very beginning to make the recording process really easy and fast. But you kind of need to do just some session prep before you get going. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a click track to our song, but we're also going to add band cues. And these are cues that kind of just let people know where in the song you are. So it'll say verse 2, 3, 4, or chorus 2, 3, 4. If you go to loopcommunity.com and click on store at the very top, you can download our band cue pack for free. So if you haven't done that yet, go ahead and do that now. Go to loopcommunity.com, click on store, and then right at the top there's a free download for band cues. Download that, and you can go and do that now while I'm talking. But once you've downloaded that, we're going to now install that into Ableton Live. And once you've downloaded it, you will see a folder that looks something like this. It's going to say you'll have an English version or a Spanish version, and I'm going to choose English for this session. And when you open up the English version, you will see this, and it shows you just a sample of what it sounds like. So let me hit play.
Intro 2, 3, 4.
So you can see the cues at the top, and these are just MIDI tracks, and then the click down here is at the bottom.
3, 4.
And that's a click. And this is all running off of a drum rack down here in the bottom left corner. A drum rack is basically a MIDI instrument that you can load different sounds in.
Acoustic.
And then using MIDI,
bass.
you can play
guitar.
the different
acapella
sounds in that drum rack.
Keys.
So we have a bunch of different cues here,
2,
right?
4.
And we're going to use that to create our cue track. So first thing you want to do when you open up this English cue pack, you're going to hit the save button. It's a little teeny icon in the top right corner that has a disc on it. I'm going to hit save, and this is going to save this cue pack to my library. I'm going to call it cue pack and hit enter. Alright, so now it's saved here, and that means that now I can drag this out into like the main folder if I want. This is Live's file browser over here on the left hand side. This is where we're going to be spending a lot of time today on finding your sounds and drums and different audio effects, reverbs, delays, compressors, MIDI effects, and then down here places is where you can find different files on your computer. So I saved that cue pack right here into my user library, and now that it's there, I can use it on any Ableton session. So let's just go to File, New Live Set. We're going to start from scratch in this webinar. So that way we're just going to start from scratch, so we're going to all do this together. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in the audio that I'm going to be creating a track for. Now this could be like a song from iTunes or maybe a song you recorded. The reason we're not going to use an iTunes song is because YouTube will kick us off if it identifies that it's an original. So I'm going to bring in a track that we've made previously for Good Good Father. I'm just going to drag those audio files here into Ableton. Again, this could be any audio file you want, any song. And first thing you do is I'm going to set the tempo up here to 145 for the tempo of Good Good Father, and then the time signature. And now if you turn on the click, this little button right here enables the click. I can hit play, and you're going to hear the metronome.
Intro. 2, 3, 4,
But you're
5,
also going to
6.
hear those cues and the track. So we're going to create our own cues, so just ignore these, because we're going to create our own cues. First thing I like to do is map out my song, and I do that by adding locators. Up in the top right corner there's a button that says Set. When you press this button, it adds a little flag or a little marker, and you can right click on that flag and then go to Rename, and I'm going to call this Intro. So now let's go and hit stop twice, and that rewinds back to the beginning, and let's hit play.
Intro. 2, 3, 4, 5,
Alright, so that's going to
6.
be the intro. Let's go ahead and click over here and hit the spacebar and see what this section is.
Verse. 2, 3, 4,
The
5,
verse.
6.
So I just hit the set button again. I'm going to right click, rename. We're going to call this verse. And let's scroll over and see what else we have in the song.
Pre-chorus. 2, 3, 4.
Alright, so I'm going to click here, hit set. This is the pre-chorus. I'm going to rename that. Whoops, I probably should do that again. Typo. Okay, now let's go to the next one over here.
Chorus. 2, 3.
What's cool is you can also set a key command to this set button by just hitting key. Anything that turns orange can be assigned to a key. I'm going to make it the key of A. So that means whenever I hit A, it's going to add a marker. So I'm going to hit A.
Chorus. 2, 3.
And it gave me a marker. Let's call it chorus. Let's go and scroll over here and see what else we got.
Verse. 2, 3.
Alright, here's another verse. Right click, rename. We're going to call it verse. Next one.
Pre-chorus. 2, 3.
Alright, this is a pre-chorus. And the next one.
Chorus. 2, 3, 4.
This is a chorus. I hit A, it adds a marker. So you're going to want to go through your whole song.
Chorus. 2, 3.
Here's another chorus. Alright, let's see what else we got here.
Bridge. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Alright, that's the bridge. Let's keep going.
Bridge. 2, 3,
Here's another
4,
one.
5, 6.
Now this can get kind of tiring, right? Because you're doing the same thing over and over and over.
Bridge. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Alright, so for the sake of this demo, we're going to just end it here, just for the sake of time. And we're going to make that end. So that's going to be the very end of the song. I would go through and map out the whole song if I were doing this for a full track, but we can't record the whole song today. Okay, so here's our song. I'm actually going to go ahead and just cut that. I just did a Command E to slice those audio clips. I'm going to delete. Alright, now you can drag back to kind of cut that out. Now we've got our song, and what's really cool is if you just put your mouse up here with the hand, there's a little magnifying glass. If you click and drag up and down, you can zoom in, zoom out, and I can see my whole song now and the arrangement. And this just makes it very, very nice for now I can easily record and I know exactly what section I'm recording in. Let's go ahead and add a click. So I'm going to go to Create, I'm going to go to Insert MIDI Track. And this is where we're going to use the cue pack that we installed from Loop Community. I'm going to right click on this and go to Rename, and we're going to call this Click. And now let's go ahead and drag the cue pack here onto that MIDI track. Drag and drop. So now on that click MIDI track, I have this cue pack, which has all these different
Swell.
sounds here.
Repeat.
I'm going to highlight the first bar. I'm going to right click and go to Insert MIDI Clip. If you double click on that MIDI clip, now I can see all the different sounds
1. Guitar. All in. Halftime. Full
that are
band.
on that instrument. Jansen's going to talk more about this with drums because it works a lot the same way. Drums and keys. So I'm going to go ahead and draw in my click. I'm going to right click and change the grid to quarter notes. And let's go ahead and pull out the pencil tool in the top right corner, or you can do Command B. And let's go and draw in the click accents. So I want click and then normal. Whoops. If you mess up, you can just click it again and it deletes it. So let me hit play and see what that sounds like. So
Intro.
accent.
3, 4, 5, 6.
Cool. All you have to do, what's really cool is all you have to do is just one measure, because once you do one, you can just drag and it will duplicate that click sound or whatever it is you did for the entire song. So now I have a click that I created. I could export this now as an audio file if I wanted. So I created my own click track. Now let's create a cue track. I'm going to go to Create, Insert MIDI Track, and this one is going to be called Cues. Alright, so now to add my cues, I'm going to highlight one bar and right click and go to Insert MIDI Clip. Let's drag the cue pack in again on there, and I'm going to double click, and let's set the grid to quarter notes, and let's just make a cue for this. So it's going to be intro 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right?
Intro. 2, 3, 4.
So I'm going to go to intro. You can turn on this little headphone jack if you want to hear it. So intro, and then let me do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
And let's hit play and see what that sounds like.
Intro. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Now I kind of want to just get rid of the 2 and 3, so it'll be like this.
Intro. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Well, you can hear the other one, so let me just delete that for a second. And this is what it'll sound like, my new cues.
Intro. 4, 5, 6. Intro. 4, 5, 6.
So I think that will be nice for that, at least for that cue. So now I'm going to just copy and paste this cue down the entire timeline before every section. Now you're probably thinking, well, Matt, the problem though is that now all of them say intro. Well, all you have to do to fix that is just click on the cue and then change this to what that section is. So this is the verse.
Verse. Verse.
So I'm going to click there. Let's go to this one. This one should be pre-chorus.
Pre-chorus.
Let's do this one. It should be chorus.
Chorus.
And this one's verse.
Verse.
And this one's pre-chorus.
Chorus.
Whoop. See if you mess up. Just click it.
Pre-chorus.
Do it again. Alright, the next one, chorus. We're almost done, you guys.
Chorus.
This is going to be nice because once you have all
Chorus.
this done, it's all ready for you to start recording.
Bridge.
And doing this work ahead of time really just makes the recording process easier.
Bridge.
Because then you're not guessing where different sections of the song are, and it's just kind of nice to set all this up ahead of time. Cool, so now all those are edited. So if I hit play,
Bridge. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
my new cues are there. So let's go ahead and delete this old cue track. We don't really need that anymore. I'm going to rename this and just call it original audio or whatever. And that's what we're going to kind of continue to build this track based on. So before Jansen comes over here, I'm going to hit save, and we're just going to save it just in case we need to come to this for some reason, and we're going to call it Good Father. Alright, Jansen is going to join us now, and he's going to go over how to start recording your own acoustic guitar, pads, keys, drums, and it's going to be great. Stay tuned.
All right, everybody. Thanks, Matt. We appreciate that. It's awesome. So we're going to go ahead and engage a little bit of a camera so you can see kind of what's going on. So how's everyone doing? This is like where the action happens. This is like where all your dreams come true. This is my little studio space. Yours can be whatever. You don't have to have tons and tons of expensive audio equipment in order to really do this well. All you need is a simple computer, maybe like a keyboard like this, and an interface that'll allow you to plug in XLR cables and quarter-inch cables to record things like the electric guitar, the bass guitar. A lot of things would, like this keyboard is USB, so it'll just plug in right there in order for you to play and record things straight from this USB keyboard. But that's going to enable you to do everything you need to do and get all the sounds you want. Ableton, most of you guys are running Ableton Live Intro, which has enough sounds in it that come stock, where you don't need a whole lot of extra things. But if you want, for all the gurus out there and the people that are wanting to be like at the ninja level, you can go and actually download all kinds of plugins and all kinds of things that you can use that are going to be sound packs and all kinds of like drum things and sounds that don't really normally come with Ableton, and you can fix that and go back. So let's go ahead and kind of jump into what that's going to be with our first instrument. So kind of with this, the best thing I think to start off with, and something that's relatively easy, would be the acoustic guitar. So basically, right here I have an SM57, just a nice dynamic microphone, and a lot of this is going into this Focusrite interface. Now, some of you can have an Apple interface. Doesn't really matter what you have as long as it can accept 1/4-inch slots, XLR, and USB. And so I have 2 inputs on this, so I can record 2 different instruments at the same time. So what I'm going to do is one of the audio is going to come from this microphone recording the actual live acoustic. The other is actually a 1/4-inch jack that comes out of my guitar that, when you're leading worship, you patch into your acoustic. So that's what the other one's going to be. And I'm kind of going to split them into one track so I get a full dynamic range of my acoustic guitar. So first things we're going to do are we need a track, an audio track that we can actually record the acoustic with. So if we come here in Ableton, I'm just going to kind of lower this a second, give us some more space to work with. I'm going to come down here, and you can go to create, and you're going to do an audio track. Now, for those of you that are using Mac, you can use like short commands like Command T. If you're using Windows, Control T. So we're going to insert an audio track here, and we're going to rename it to, let's just put acoustic. Okay, and we're going to switch the recording so that when we try to record something, we're not going to record over this click track. Okay, so we're going to record click. One thing too that really helps, and this is a little trick, I'm going to show you a couple of things as we do this, is you want to make sure that of 2 things. The first thing is you're going to go up here to edit, and you're going to scroll down to recording quantization. This is a very big step that most people miss when they're recording and starting out. If you're recording with no quantization, when you record MIDI, it's going to record it in real time. So if there's any type of mess ups with 16th notes or an 8th note here, and you're a little bit late or a little bit early, it's not going to snap it to the grid. It's going to do it exactly when you pushed it right in time with that key or with that, what instrument you're creating. If it's a computer instrument. So what we want to do is, I think it's best to come down and just do a 16th note quantization. And what this is that within a 16th note value, if you are too fast or dragging a little bit, or you're rushing the tempo when you're recording, and you stop the recording, it's going to automatically snap everything in line with the current tempo that you have. So you don't have to go back and adjust all the different notes. It's going to put it all right in line. So it's going to take you from really being, your recordings being really good, and when you set the quantization at 16th note level, it's going to be really great, and you're not going to have to go back and patch as much because it's going to be in time. So that's the first thing. The second thing, when we get ready to record MIDI, is that you want to always make sure that this is engaged. And so this is what we call the overdub. So we're going to click that and make sure that it's highlighted yellow. And the reason why is sometimes when you're recording MIDI and you want to go back and like record over it, you want to make sure that you're not going to previously record over and erase what you already recorded, but you want to record on top of and maybe keep the old MIDI that you already have recorded. So I know that kind of sounds confusing, but you don't want to record 2 times and have to go back and record the same thing again. You want to be able to keep it layered and not lose any of the notes that you've already recorded in a previous take. A lot of times you mess up when recording and you have to go and redo it again. So this will help out a lot. So let's keep that overdub engaged and make sure that you set this under edit to make sure that it's set to 16th note quantization, and that'll help out a lot. Okay. So let's jump right into this acoustic guitar. So I have my mic set up here and the line going into that. I have my just acoustic guitar here, and One thing I know that, what key are we in? And that's right here. It's in the key of A, and I know that because the track is listed in the key of A. So I'm going to set this guitar to a capo 2, and we'll be able to play it in a G setting. So that'll be our acoustic. So I'm going to pull this mic in a little bit so you can hear the acoustic. So that'll be good. And since I have two different lines, one's coming from the guitar and one's coming from the microphone, I'm going to come and set my the input channels here to record true stereo. So one of these channels, the one, is going to be recording the left input, and the two is going to be recording the right input. So I'm going to get a true stereo sound, and we can preview this in real time. I'm going to make sure this is set to N instead of auto, and so you're going to hear a little bit of like a reverbed, almost like a delayed reverb effect. So now you're getting the real time of what that sounds like coming from the microphone and from the under the saddle pickup that's already in my guitar. So it really sounds good. And you're going to get a lot better dynamic range with the lows, the mids, and the highs that are from your guitar or whatever instrument that that you're recording that's a live instrument. So let's go ahead and play this first little bit, kind of get the rhythm of where we're at, and we'll go right into it. Okay.
Intro 4, 5, 6.
So you hear that it's in this. You get the strum pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Verse 4, 5, 6.
Life's a thousand stories of what they. Cool. So that'd be good. We have our level set. Let's go ahead and start to record. So we have record enabled. Make sure this is turned on. And when we're ready, we're going to hit stop and record straight from the beginning. So when we hear the intro count in 3, 4, 5, 6, and it hits here, we're going to start recording the acoustic. All right, let's try it.
Intro 4, 5, 6. Verse 4, 5, 6.
Cool. So now you can see where there's audio here, and so we're gonna let's undo this track by cutting it off. So now what we're gonna hear is our acoustic recording of that. Okay.
Intro 4, 5, 6.
Sorry. In order to hear that, turn it from in to off so you can preview what you're recording. Nice, good sound, and not too much. So you'll notice maybe here in this track view that you'll have two channels, a left channel and a right channel. Now you'll notice that one kind of is larger than the other. Like this right channel here seems to be thicker. And the reason that is because my input on this left channel is not as gained. The gain is not as high to pick up the guitar as this channel. So if you're anything like me, it may take you a few times to get the right setting. Maybe you like you want a more gain on the mic than you do here because it's going to give you a deeper, richer feel. So just play around with that, and on your interface you may gain it up a little from the mic or gain it down from the line in your guitar, and make sure you tweak those settings and run a couple of these beginning tracks before you try to record the entire thing. I can't tell you how many times I've tried to record a track and gotten kind of halfway done or all the way done with it, and I look up and realize, oh man, the left channel is so low you can't even hear anything. And so then I got to go back and record the whole thing again. So please don't make that mistake. Start by doing just a little snippet of the intro and get a good solid level, and check your levels to make sure that everything sounds good and is where you want it. Then you can go back there and record the entire thing. Cool? Alright, so what's cool about this is maybe we want to not, we're fine with this level. Let's say this is okay, and I just want to go straight into the verse and record. I don't want to really record the intro again. Okay, so I'm going to get a preview of what the verse is like. So let's listen to the verse.
4, 5, 6.
We're going to cut that back on. Cool. It just sounds like he's playing an A chord there, strumming on the A.
Pre-chorus, 4, 5, 6.
And then he switches to that minor 2. Cool. So now I know where I'm going. So let's just jump right into the verse here. So I'm going to start maybe right here and give myself 1 bar a measure before I have to come in. And I'm going to show you a cool trick. So let's start again. I'm going to go right into the verse. We're going to cut this off. So make sure I don't do that. Cut the end back on so we can hear. And here we go.
Verse, 4, 5, 6. Pre-chorus, 4, 5, 6.
Cool. So right there, I know I definitely messed up with the wrong chord here on the pre-chorus. So I'm going to go back and do it. So let's go and drag this over. So this is my first recording. You can see it says 1 acoustic, and then this is 2 acoustic. So what you want to do is you want to drag this over and stop it right here on the verse. Now what's going to happen is it's going to merge my new recording in with my old recording. And it should be right in time.
Verse, 4, 5, 6.
Cool. Doesn't sound like too out of whack. It's a little bit quieter, but it still sounds in time. And now I don't have to go back and redo this recording again. Cool. So let's keep going. I'm going to trim the audio here because I know this was the wrong chord. So let's see what exactly he's playing.
Pre-chorus, 4, 5, 6. Chorus.
Cool. Alright, now we know what's going on. So same thing again. Let's highlight here, tick off the original, make sure we can hear ourselves. And here we go.
Pre-chorus, 4, 5, 6. Chorus, 4, 5, 6. Verse, 4, 5, 6.
Cool, so I just messed up there. That's fine. You get the idea of how you can start patching this together. There's open space, so my second recording, I'm going to drag it over and line it up. And let's click this back to off again and see kind of how it sounds.
Pre-chorus, 4, 5, 6. Chorus, 4, 5, 6.
It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are. And I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am.
Verse, 4, 5, 6.
Cool. So now we're into our verse. And let's go ahead and just kind of finish this out a little bit. I'm going to record here, and I'm going to zoom out a little bit and try to finish through to the end, okay? All right, switch this back in. And I'm not the best guitarist in the world, so I'm going to try to do this without messing up. So we'll see what happens.
Verse, 4, 5, 6. Pre-chorus, 4, 5, 6. Chorus, 4, 5, 6. 5, 6. Bridge 4, 5, 6. Bridge 4, 5, 6. End 4, 5, 6.
Cool. We'll stop there and just kind of have acoustic. So don't forget to patch this through here and make sure it lines up all the way with your last recording. Boom. And there we go. So we're going to switch this back off again, and you just kind of preview a little bit through the pre-chorus here.
Chorus
Jump
4,
around,
5, 6.
you know, make sure it's good everywhere. I think I messed up the chords here in the bridge. That's okay. We'll get it all situated as we start recording. So that's pretty much like your acoustic guitar right there. Now, some cool things here we can do. I'm going to set this acoustic down. A couple cool things is, you know, one of the things that we could do with the guitars, it sounds pretty good already, but we can enhance it a little bit by putting some audio effects here. And so I want to show you kind of how you can do this a little bit. And so let's see here. Here in your categories, you have an audio effects category itself. And what we're going to do is we're going to throw on a couple things to kind of spice up the acoustic itself. So if I double click this acoustic, the name, the acoustic track, there's you have an audio effects chain down here. And you'll notice that nothing is on it. It's just blank. And so it's just raw audio from the recording that we did. So what I want to do is maybe start off with a little bit of a compressor and see if that will kind of help boost a couple of things. Some guys like to start off with an EQ. So if you want a EQ, there's Ableton, and these are all stock in Ableton. You know, you don't have to go out and buy all these things like I said earlier. So let's go to EQ 8 here, and there's different types for different instruments. We're going to choose instrument and put on acoustic guitar 1. And so what we're going to do is just take that and drag it into the effects chain and drop it. And it has preset points in the frequency for this chain that are going to help you kind of, you know, discern whether or not you like the sound, whether you don't like the sound, and to see if you know, you need to change it or leave it on, or you know, whatever you want to do. So let's try it. So this is with it off. I'm going to cut off the power button here to this
6.
effect. And let's just solo this channel so that we can just get a clear. So let's cut it on and see what happens. If you notice, it kind of made it the mids and the highs a little bit brighter. I'm going to cut it off again. You can tell when I cut it on and when I cut it off. It kind of enhances it a little bit, makes it pop. So let's leave that on. Maybe we can turn the frequency down a little bit on a couple of things. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, a lot of this is just, you know, listening, tweaking this here, tweaking it there, you know, cutting the gain down a little bit, changing these points to see where at on the grid that's going to give you the best response. Okay, so just kind of play around with that, and that's kind of one of the EQs that's in Ableton. Let's go ahead and add another effect here, and we're going to go with a compressor. So I'm going to drag this compressor down here. And what we want to do, first off, if we leave like this, is going to be exploding. So we're going to cut the threshold down, and that's limiting the amount of sound that's actually coming through. It's kind of gating how much is coming through here. And let's put it about there, and then we're going to play that back and see what it sounds like. So we can boost it. We don't want to go too loud. So you're going to watch your levels here and make sure it's not peaking. So if you cut it off, you can notice it makes a pretty big significant increase and decrease in the sound. So this is nothing. This is just straight acoustic. And then we add the equalizer, and then we add the compressor. You can see how it makes it kind of pop. And these are all standard from Ableton. I'm not really doing anything magical. I'm just, telling it what I want it to do. So cool. We'll stop there. Let's add a little bit of reverb. Now, here's a trick with reverb. A lot of guys will go reverb crazy, and there's an old adage in the music world that says reverb covers a multitude of sins. That is true in some cases, but we don't want to go crazy. So a lot of guys, they'll throw reverb in here, and they'll turn the wet up like crazy. Like, let's do 75, and let's see what that sounds like. It sounds like we're playing the guitar underwater. It sounds terrible. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut this dry wet down, and a lot of times you need to do this live while it's playing. So let's go ahead and play it. You hear a little bit of echo when you stop the track. So you want to make sure you can not have too much echo. You don't want to make it sound like you're in some deep hall. It doesn't take a whole lot. Just enough to give you just barely a little bit. So I'm going to put in maybe 15 and leave it there. And then maybe cut the decay time down a little bit. The decay time is how long it takes it from the last bit of sound to finally go to 0 where you're not hearing anything decibel-wise. So that's probably good right there. And it'll give it a little bit of stereo effect in this. It'll stereo it out a little bit. So that's what reverb does, is it takes a signal and it just kind of widens it a little bit to give it more of a full sound. So let's keep that where it is. And I think, again, let's do this one more time. We're going to take off all 3 of these effects and listen to the guitar a little bit. Here's the EQ, and the compressor, and the reverb. So you notice it kind of, comes alive a little bit. So that's good. That's what we want. We want a little bit of cutting into the mix. And those are little tricks you can use with just the guitar. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit Command Save. If you're using Windows, it's Control Save, or Control S rather, to save it. And that'll make sure that it saves all of our changes to this recording. And that is pretty much the acoustic guitar. Now, some guys, they may merge these tracks, but I would say leave these alone. Just leave them as separate recordings, because sometimes you may need to, this is louder, this is softer, and if I want this to match the level that I see this, like it's thicker audio here and it's thinner, so I'm going to double click on this actual audio clip. And down here, it's already warped, so I'm going to take this and kind of raise the decibels a little bit so I can match the audio. So it's about a 2.5, and that's what we want, okay? So you want kind of like and so when you go from piece to piece, you may want to raise and lower it a little bit to kind of give that dynamic enhancement when you're recording. If it's all the way straight across, if it's as loud in the verse as it is in the biggest part of the bridge, you may want to lessen the verse and make it thicker on the bridge, so where you give yourself a little more dynamics musically. Cool? All right, guys. So that's the guitar, basically. Let's go ahead and do some drums. This is probably everybody's favorite. It always is mine. So I'm going to collapse the click, and I'm going to collapse the cues because we still have our section markers up here, the locators. Now, one common mistake when people are doing drums, and again, you can do this 1,000 different ways. It's totally up to you. But what I like to do is think of it in a real life performance setting. Who are using these tracks? You know, people. It's going to be worship leaders. It's going to be you, you know, on stage. And so if you're using a drum track, one big mistake I see a lot is that people will record one track that says drums, and they'll put all the drums into that one track. The problem with that is when you play drums live in a setting, you have overhead mics, you have the kick drum mic, you have a mic on the snare, you have a mic with the toms and the cymbals, and you can control every one of those mics to give you a good mix on the drums. And so that's kind of what we want to do here. So I'm going to go over and create a new MIDI track. And instead of just saying drums like this, let's get a little more real and kind of we're gonna zoom in here just a little bit so you guys can see. We're gonna switch instead of doing just drums, and we're gonna make kind of a bigger overall setting with the drums and record multiple drums and have it one track. Okay, so instead of saying drums, let's do this. Let's rename it the kick. Cool. Hope that's better. It's a little bit more zoomed in. You guys can see what's going on with that. You know, I'm going to drag this over here a little bit out of the way. So now we're just going to record the click. So I'm going to cut this on. All right, and let's cut off the acoustic, and let's cut back on the original so that we can hear where the kick is inside. So let's go here.
4, 5, 6. 5, 6.
So this isn't, the kick isn't really here yet.
5, 6.
There it is. So now the drums start right at the verse. So this is where we're going to start. I'm going to zoom in, and we're going to start right here on the drums. Now, we need drums, right? We need to put them in here. So how do we do that? So in your category setting, we're going to go to drums. And over in our drums, we have, when this is collapsed, again, this is all standard with Ableton. There's a thing called the drum rack. So we're going to take this drum rack and you're going to drag it and drop it right into the effects chain here, into the sample. So now we have our rack. And what you can do with this is all these are different MIDI notes. And now this is where we're going to utilize our keyboard, and we're going to put different drum sounds into this drum rack. So then when we hit the A#1, it's going to play a certain sound that we issue to that certain note. So let's go back here to drum hits and go to kick. And there's a number of kicks. Oh man, there's so many. You know, you can go through here and. So this is a pretty good one. Sorry about that. This is a pretty good one, and it's pretty standard. It's a good solid kick. So let's go ahead and take this and drag it down into the A#1. So where A#1 is, you'll locate that key on your keyboard. And whenever I hit the keyboard, you can see up in the right hand corner that it's taking the MIDI, and I have this just plugged into my computer via USB from the keyboard to the computer. And now I'm able to see and hear the kick. So that's cool. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start recording, and every time we hear the kick, we're going to put it in there. Cool? So let's try it. Let's play first and see where it's at.
Verse 4, 5, 6.
There's one. Boom. There's one. There's one. So it's kind of like in a swing time. So let's try to see if we can replicate that. I'm going to hit record, and we're going to just go right into it and record the kick.
Verse 4, 5, 6.
It's on the offbeat. That's what I'm doing. So it's actually, I said offbeat.
Pre-chorus.
It's on the downbeat. So it'll be on the 1 and the 3, the strong beats of the measure. Is that cool? So what we're going to do is, I'm going to stretch this out. Cool. So now, remember when I talked about quantization and recording that? If I didn't have this enabled and zoomed in, if I was too fast or too slow, I would see like a black dot here, I would see one here, I would see like maybe before the line, and it wouldn't be perfectly aligned. Instead, what happens is that because I have quantization enabled, when I record this, it snaps it directly to the beats that is closest to that 16th note. Does that make sense? So this is going to be a huge help for you and save you a long time of editing when you're making this. So let's see if it's the same.
6.
Boom. Boom. So yeah, cool. So instead of keeping it going, I'm going to select this MIDI clip and I'm going to hit Command C, or you can just hit Command D to duplicate it. So now I have another whole kick that just duplicated this audio, this MIDI clip here. Okay. So we're
6.
going.
Chorus. 4, 5, 6.
Now you can get as crazy as you want, you know, where it's like, and I've seen many searching. You know, you can put as many different kicks in there as you want. I'm just keeping it simple because it's kind of a simple song. So let's do this again and duplicate it. Cool. Every like 1 and 3. 1, 2, 3,
4, 5,
actually,
6.
just on the downbeats, on the ones. Cool. I'm gonna duplicate it again. Let's go to the
Bridge.
bridge.
4, 5, 6.
Perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways to us.
Cool. So one thing I'm hearing is that I'm hearing a little bit of a double kick in there. So let's see here. We're gonna cut this original down a little bit. Let's see if that's a little better.
4, 5, 6.
That way we're not blowing your eardrums off. Sorry guys. Cool. There we go.
4, 5, 6.
When we get to the bridge, I'm noticing a little bit of
5, 6.
boom, 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 boom. So cool. So what we can do is, instead of re-recording, and this is where the overdub comes in, I can start here, and then if I hear an extra kick in there, I can just tap the key and put it in. So let's do that.
Bridge. 4, 5, 6. Bridge. 4, 5, 6.
Cool. So now what I'm going to do is, instead of recording the rest of it, we're going to save ourselves some time. I'm going to drag this over, line it up, and now we have a new thing, and it already quantized my kick. Cool. So I'm going to duplicate this, Command D, and now I have the same exact thing I recorded here. I have it here again. Duplicating MIDI clips will save you a long time of being able to record things, and it's going to save you a ton of time. Okay, that's pretty good for the kick right now. Let's go to the next one, which will be the snare, and we're going to do the same thing. Highlight the record, and we're going to drop a drum rack here into the snare. And instead of a kick, we're going to do a snare sound, and I think this one is probably pretty typical. Okay, so let's drop it in that same note. Cool. So when we hit the note, we have that drum sound there. Now you can go through as many of these as you want. If you don't like that one and it sounds like junk to you, that's okay. We're going to use that one for now. So the snare comes in here, I believe.
4, 5, 6.
Cool. I hear it right on the offbeat. So
Verse. 4, 5, 6.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So on the 4, which is the half point there, we're gonna put a snare. Let's record that.
Verse. 4, 5, 6. Pre-chorus. 4, 5, 6.
Cool. Trim this audio here to line up to this grid and match it. And let's say, well, Jansen, it sounds like the snare is just like in your face. Bam! Well, what we can do is come down here to the actual snare sample, and we can do a number of things. I'm going to move this out of the way. We can change the volume and turn the volume down because it might be a little bit loud. So let's try like let's just try -20. Type it in.
6.
Yeah, it's a lot more. Yeah, that's what we want. Cool. And I can even do it like a fade in to take some of the edge off of the attack if I want. I don't want to like do like crazy, but I can fade it in a little bit. And so what happens this way is I'm really able to get a better glimpse of what the snare's like. Okay, maybe want to not as much. Cool. That's probably good right there. So we'll unmute that, or unsolo it rather, and go again with our track. And I know it's probably going to be the same thing for the pre-chorus, so let's just duplicate it. Cool.
6.
Yep. This is a great song, and you can keep it as simple or as, you know, crazy as you want. Let's see.
4, 5, 6.
It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are.
So right before the chorus, we heard like a little riff on the drums.
Chorus. 4, 5, 6.
Boom, ba 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 ba. So I'm going to record straight from here, and watch what I'm going to do.
Chorus. 4, 5, 6.
Okay, by pressing that, I was able to kind of have it a little bit where it's like, you know, building up with the drums. Ba 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 ba. So okay, that's what we want to do. I want to stop it, and what we're going to do here is, the problem is that now we have to control some things. If you double click on any MIDI clip, you're going to get all your MIDI notes here. And these vertical bars are showing me the velocity of the note that I hit. The higher they are, the harder and louder they're going to be. The lower they are, I'm just dragging this down, the softer and the quieter they will be. So I'm going to kind of put this back where it was, rather. And what I'm going to do is, it's already pretty good where it's at, so do. So you can see it kind of going up in volume, but if you want to tweak it a little bit, you know, you can drag these down and give it more of a real feel, like someone's actually drumming it. Kind of gives it that human touch. And these things are pretty sensitive, so if you have them too low, you're really not going to hear much. So let's try to do it there and see what happens.
Chorus. 4, 5, 6.
So you might want to even do it even more, and you know, you can play around with it however you want. You know, we'll go from there. So let's keep going. I'll just take the original and put it in here to duplicate it, and we'll keep going.
Bridge. 4, 5, 6.
There's another little fill right there. You know, you could use this same fill here if you wanted to, and just copy this section and then put it in here. You know, you could do pretty much whatever you want. I mean, that's the good thing about MIDI, is you can edit it how you want and not have to worry about, oh man, I have to re-record the audio, because I can change the notes as it is.
4, 5, 6.
Cool. So let's duplicate this again. Keep going, and we're going to drag it so that we end right on one. Okay. One thing I didn't do is that I'm going to duplicate this one part of the kick, because we always want to end. Always want to have the kick end on the beat. So 4, 5, 6, boom.
End. 4, 5, 6.
Makes sense? Cool. So we'll do that, and that's our kick and our snare. We'll hit Command S to save it again. So now we got our snare, we got our kick, and again, you can put as many of these notes in as you want to make them, you know, ready. One thing I like to do is make this track like red, so that I know it's not mine. I didn't create that. And all these, I'm going to make them green, so that I know that all these are mine. I created all these. So when I go to export them, you know, it's going to be all my own stuff, and I can get rid of the stuff that I don't need. All right, let's keep going. Create a couple more here. Cool. Cymbals. Make it green. Hit record. Go back and
Intro.
let's listen to the beginning.
4, 5, 6.
No cymbals there.
4, 5, 6.
No cymbals there. Let's go to the pre-chorus.
Pre-chorus. 4, 5, 6.
Not really any pre-choruses there. It might be the chorus.
4, 5, 6.
Yeah, we can hear some rides. Cool. So we're going to do the same thing again. Go back and insert a drum rack. And now we're going to go to our, we have a multitude of things here. This is the one on the cymbals you can kind of do more with it. So we're going to go to a ride. That's kind of hot and heavy. So you have to kind of, you know, figure out which one of these rides are going to be good. So let's just take that first one, ping ride. I know it's loud, so we'll put that here. And what I'll do is I'll just turn the volume down. I'm going to click here and then type -20 to take the volume down just a tad bit. And now I can test the volume. Cool. So that sounds about good. Might be still a little bit too bright, but we'll see. I'm also going to add in, let's add in a crash. And, you know, you might have to sift through some things. Most of these come stock with an Ableton, like I was saying. Cool, let's put that in there. And see where B1 is. Now, some of these crashes that come with Ableton already, they have like some macros that are mapped to certain effects that they've put along with these. So it's not just a straight cymbal. They put a little bit of, you know, moderations on it to give you some stuff. So there's pitch and delay and volume and glue. We can turn the volume down a little bit on this, and by the down arrow, I'm just gonna probably do like a -5, and let's see what that sounds like. You know, like a -8. We don't want it too loud. Cymbals are one thing that can overpower your track if you're not careful. Okay, so let's try this. We have a ride, we have a crash, and that should be pretty good for now. So let's go through and listen to the chorus.
Chorus. 4, 5, 6.
Just play along. You can hear it. You can hear the cymbal. And it just kind of rings out, and then the crash.
4, 5, 6.
Oh, there wasn't a crash. Cool. So that's one thing we can add there. So let's try that.
Chorus. 4, 5, 6.
Here's where the 16th note quantization really comes in handy.
Verse. 4, 5, 6.
Cool. So, and that quantized all my notes, and they're all in time, and I don't have to worry about any of that. I can go on to the next section and see if there's any symbols. So, cool, I hear a shaker. Let's go ahead and add a shaker. We'll trim this up and have it all within the percussion. Shaker. So, let's see here. If you don't have some of these, it might be because you're using a version of Ableton Live that doesn't that's intro or standard. It may not have all the trimmings that this one has. I'm using Suite, so again, you can. It's totally up to you, whatever you're using, and you can get all kinds of things that are gonna make it sound better. So let's see here. I forgot what note this was on. A1. It's a little bit too loud for me, so I'm gonna cut this down. Cool.
6.
Cool, so that kind of gives us a little bit of a thing. I'm going to put that in there and record there, so let's do that.
Verse. 4, 5, 6. Pre-chorus. 4, 5, 6.
Cool. So notice my shaker I wasn't playing it as best as I could, but it snapped it all to the grid again, so that's great. Let's keep going. Still the shaker there, so I'm gonna trim this down a little bit.
Chorus. 4, 5, 6.
Okay, we still have the shaker. This is without the original, what it sounds like.
Chorus 4, 5, 6.
Okay. Let's see what the bridge sounds like. I still hear the shaker maybe a little bit, so we're going to keep it in there. But I also hear them playing the ride again. So we're going to go back and record it with the ride. Here we go.
Bridge 4, 5, 6.
See how the notes are not lining up correctly? When I hit stop, though, it's going to line them all up. I love that feature. That's probably one of my favorite features of any major DAW, like Logic, Pro Tools, Ableton, is quantization.
4, 5, 6.
Bam, all lines up, good to go. And that's it. And I'm going to take this and duplicate it. That's it.
6.
Cool. And at the end, I'll just leave a nice little soft crash here. I don't want it too much. I can actually turn this down a lot. And just to make sure that it's not going to have too much, so that I can record a crash on the very end. And go along.
4, 5, 6.
Perfect. All right, let's move on to our, that'll be enough for keys for now. Let's move on to our drums. Let's move on to our keys section. Keys. Cool. And so I'm gonna go to sounds here, move it up to piano, and we're gonna go down to grand piano. Bam. There you go. Lets you preview it, drag and drop it. Cool. So when I play the keys, I have a sustain pedal underneath the desk here, so I know the key of A. Cool. Cool, so I'm, again, not yes pianist, but the thing about this is when you're using MIDI, you can mess up as many times as you want and record as many times as you want. So let's see what they did at the beginning.
Intro 4, 5, 6.
Not a whole lot of piano.
6.
Pre-chorus.
4, 5, 6.
I think it's at the chorus. Da, da, da. Let's try it.
Chorus 4, 5, 6.
Okay. Cool. So let's record those notes.
Chorus 4, 5, 6. Verse 4, 5, 6.
Cool. So we have our first layer of keys here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add some reverb. So right now, it's probably good. Now let's hear how it is.
5, 6.
Cool. Yeah, that'll work. Be great. Cool. Alright, we'll keep going. I hear just basic.
Pre-chorus 4, 5, 6. Chorus 4, 5, 6.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go back to the verse and record that.
Verse 4, 5, 6. Pre-chorus 4, 5, 6. Chorus 4, 5, 6.
Cool. So now I hear something else in the keys, that kind of a higher pitched thing going on, like dun 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 dun. So let's record that.
Chorus 4, 5, 6. Chorus 4, 5, 6.
Okay, it's not to waste more time, but let us duplicate that. Duplicate it again. Let's see what it sounds like at the bridge. Same thing. Cool. Alright, we'll save that. And that'll be the keys. And we're going to do one more. We're going to go to the... Let's do pad. Oops. Yeah. And again, you're like me, everything's all nice and like, you know, color coded. I'm not, you know, not worried about all this stuff. Making sure that it's mine, not mine, whatever. Alright, let's go to pads. We're kind of already in that. We're kind of already in our piano and pads, our piano and keys. Let's go to pad, and we're just going to siphon through some of these. I know that some of these are kind of cool. And you get some really cool... Some are good, and some are not so good. So let's take this celestial pad here and drag it in. There we go. Let's play what it's. Let's see what it sounds like in the key of A. I have a bell tone on the beginning of that, and what I want to do is I'm going to raise the attack, and it's going to take the front end off of that. So instead of a... Yeah, that's what we want. And again, this, I'm going to do some things here that's going to be like rocket science maybe to some of you, and some of you it makes total sense. Some of the things I'm about to do is if you'll hear the chord, there's some like fifths and sixths going on, and all I'm playing is a rooted third of fifth. And it kind of sounds out of tune a little bit, so we're going to change some of these settings here and just kind of bring everything back down to 0 and you know, even the playing field. And the tone, a lot better. So our pitch envelope too. Some of these filters that are on. Cool. All these effects, what I'm doing here is right down here we have our algorithms. And if you love Tetris, like me, I love playing Tetris. And this is kind of like playing a game of Tetris. You figure out which algorithm is going to make it sound good, per se. So some of these will make it sound exactly the same. Now, because I changed some of these, basically what these 4 layers are called oscillators. So you have oscillator A, B, C, or A, B, C, and D. And you can change each one of these oscillators, and the color that goes along with these oscillators is mapped to the color that's here. So what this means is we're going to go back here. I'm going to return these to how they were. So basically, we're going to go to parallel mode here. A is by itself. Think of these as going up. Okay, the sound is going through these oscillators and going up. So A is just going through, B is going through, C and D. Now if I did this, I'm going to have A going into B, and then B is going to go into both C and D, giving me a little bit of a different sound. So each one of these algorithms, the chain is a little bit different, and the sound that you have for this one is going to affect the different oscillators throughout. That might be like crazy, like over the top of your head. Don't worry, a lot of this stuff, they come pre-packed with great pad sounds, and if you're not a whiz at that, you're just going to use it. I'm going to show you one more thing here in a second that's going to be pretty cool. So and we're not going to write anything over here. That's pretty much it. And so I'm going to go back to some of these oscillators here and see if I can't fix a couple of things here. Cool. Cool. So we got our space, kind of that echoey. I'm going to turn the volume down a little bit. Cool. Let's try that. Let's throw some audio effects in here too. Have a little bit of a delay. So where's it at? Simple delay. And if you hit the note, you can hear a little bit of delay. So I'm going to cut that down just a little bit. Feedback up just a little bit. Okay, and then I put a little bit of extra reverb here. Bring the reverb down. The key time up. It's maybe like 5 seconds almost. Cool. I like that. You may hate that sound. It's not the best sound I've ever had, to be honest with you. But we're just going to use it. Okay. So I'm going to hit record and start right off with this.
Intro 4, 5, 6. Verse 4, 5, 6.
You provide. Yeah.
Pre-chorus 4, 5, 6. Chorus 4, 5, 6. Verse 4, 5, 6.
Boom. Okay, we'll stop there. And anytime there's a verse or a chorus, I'm just going to repeat that line. So I'm just going to take the sample here. Let's see. Copy that and put it in the verse. Take the chorus. Command C to copy and then put it back in here again. Same thing with the pre-chorus. Actually, I can just take this whole thing. Pre-chorus, chorus. Copy it and then pre-chorus, chorus. Paste it. That'll be good. We'll do chorus again. I actually like this right here though. So paste, paste, and let's see what the bridge sounds like.
Bridge 4, 5, 6.
Cool. And we're going to raise the volume of this a little bit so you can actually hear. Let's try to record from there.
Bridge 4, 5, 6. Bridge 4, 5, 6. End 4, 5, 6.
Cool, we'll stop there. Trim it up a little bit. And now I'm going to select my mixer down here. And the next is I'm going to select the track volume. And I'm going to actually set points to where it's going to do like a fade out. So I'm going to set a point there, and then I'm going to click and drag the next point down so it kind of fades out real nice for me. And same thing here. I want to have a full volume pad about right at this point, and then a kind of a fade in. And that'd be a cool way to fade that in. And that's kind of like how you use a little bit of automation to set points and drag things. And so here you have a bunch of different things you can control. I just chose mixer, and then I chose track volume, and then set points, and you can drag where you want it to be. I can just drag this and raise the volume a little bit if I want. And that's pretty much it, guys. You know, a couple more things that I would do is kind of have a little bit of, you know, audio effects here. I'm going to cut this off just a second so you can see. Let's go to audio effects, and let's go back to EQ and put in a kick EQ for the kick drum. I think I put one in for the snare. No, I didn't, so let's put one in for the snare. And I've used these before, so I know they're pretty good. Cymbals are okay, keys are okay. The pad, you know, there's a bunch of different things you can do with that. If you don't really like that sound, what you could do is go to soundpark.com, soundpark.com. And what that is basically another one of Loop Community's owned things where people, instead of uploading tracks and selling them, they're uploading patches and sounds. And so here's an example of what they sound like. So down here I have my Ableton packs. These are packs that I've purchased or that I have in my library that I've gotten from third-party plugins or things like that. And I call them LC pads, and that's what was purchased for me off of SoundPark. I know this is in the key of A, so I'm going to bring down and drag this right in. Let's see here. Cool. And that's going to be really loud, I know for sure. So I'm going to bring this volume down a little bit. And these kind of sound like this. Nice cool pad sound. Let's bring the volume down a little bit. We could actually even layer these if we wanted to. So we're going to cut on all the tracks that we did, and let's just use this as because it's maybe this is one I've purchased, or maybe it's not. You know, we could do pad 2, and that's just an example of if you buy a patch off of soundpark.com, you can drag and drop it right into Ableton, and you can use them if they're preloaded files, or you can use them like different pads and stuff to use as a preset sound to play the keys like I was doing earlier with the piano. Okay, so let's see what this sounds like right from the beginning with all of our own stuff.
Intro 4, 5, 6.
down.
Verse 4, 5, 6.
Cool. Let's skip ahead a little bit and see what the chorus sounds like.
4, 5, 6.
Cool, you can hear the cymbals kind of come in a little bit. Now we're going to skip ahead to where the drums come in.
Verse 4, 5, 6.
The kick is really strong, so we're going to bring it down some. Probably even more. Cool.
Pre-chorus 4, 5, 6. Chorus 4, 5, 6.
Cool. Sounds good. What I would do here is after you've checked all of your, all the recording and you for sure know, okay, it sounds good, everything looks good, and I'm ready to export this out. What I want to do is, okay, I'm ready to export the stems. So how do I do that? So, we're going to take only, and I can get rid of my original now. Let's just delete that because I don't need it anymore. All these are on, none of them are turned off, so they're all on. And what I'm going to do is make sure that I hit stop twice to rewind it all the way you want it to be 111. And the reason why is sometimes if it's scrubbed ahead, it'll only export your stems from that point on. And so like, oh man, what happened? I'm missing, a little bit of my recording at the beginning. Make sure it's at 111 and then export them. Okay, we're going to go up here to File, and then we're going to hit Export Audio and Video. And what we're going to do is the rendered track section, we're going to go to all individual tracks because we want to export every single one of these. Okay, so hit all individual tracks. Make sure it says 111 and the end is going to be around the 70s, which is what we want. This is usually preset. I wouldn't mess with any of this. Just keep it wave, keep it 44.1, and keep it 16. Don't mess with any of this stuff. And then that's pretty much it. So you'll be ready to hit export. And it's going to tell you where you want it to export to. So we're going to go to our downloads folder. And I'm going to call this to be in good taste. This is a good practice for that you need to get into. So good Father, the name of the song. Type an underscore and then always have your BPM, which is 145 BPM, and I know that because we have it here, and then another underscore in the key, and I know I recorded it in the key of A, so I put the key of A, and then I'm going to put one more underscore and leave it open, and then I'm going to hit save. And what it's going to do is it's going to start exporting and then rendering the audio, and then you'll see it's going to go zoom, 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 and it'll tell you what it's exporting when it does. Click, cues, acoustic, kick, everything. And so from there, I'll show you in the downloads folder when it's done, all of the stems that we have, and we can use those to upload to Loop Community to sell our track. We can upload them to Loop Community Prime to use them in the Prime app on your iPhone or iPad. There's a lot of things you can do with this. You can have it just for your own library and use them whenever you want them. And so it's a great way to just create something. And this didn't take too long. I mean, this whole webinar, we started with probably an hour ago creating these stems. So I did all this in an hour to create a simple track that I can use in my church setting. And then the goal of this would be, hey, if I need to, I can, while I'm playing these tracks back, I have a live drummer, so I don't need the kick, snare, and cymbals. And I'm playing acoustic, so I don't need that. And so all I need is the keys and the pad to have some filler information, some filler sound. And so that's kind of some things you can do. Never really get in a practice of using tracks to replace your bandmates. Just use it to enhance your performance. And so that's kind of good practice. So what we're going to do is I'm going to save this, Command S, and let's launch a new live set. And I'm going to go to my downloads folder here, and here are all of my stems. I don't need this one, and if it ever has just a single wave, you can just delete that one. And so I'm going to holding the shift key, I'm going to select all of these and just drag them right into Ableton. These are the ones I just created. And then I'm going to hold command down and let go of the mouse, and it's going to drop them all in vertically. Okay, and I'm going to switch it to 145 just as it was, and change my BPM there, or the time signature rather. So cool. So these, I can still rename them if I want, but they're already named here if you lost what they were. And so now you don't see any more MIDI. All you see is, this is what you're used to seeing when you buy a track or put them in here. And this is all your audio. This is the one that you recorded. So let's play it back.
Intro 4, 5, 6.
Cool, huh? Again, this is only an hour's worth. It may not be the best, but it's something quick and easy if you're in a bind and you need to record a track, you know, and kind of have this ready. You know, you can always just do it on your own whim. Now you know how to do it. You can have this video to watch back the next couple of days if you need to get a couple of, you know, things. We also offer one-on-one trainings via Skype. And so you can find those in the store tab of loopcommunity.com/store, and you just can order those one-on-one training sessions. We can do more detailed things on how to create certain tracks and do certain things with it, adding more effects and whatnot. But that's pretty much the majority of everything. If you have any questions, send us an email to support@loopcommunity.com, support@loopcommunity.com. And so what I would say is a couple more things is make sure that you know, when you're using these tracks, it's of utmost importance to make sure that all your own audio is things that you create. You know, we want to make sure that we encourage you to be creative, to you know, find new ways and new instruments to record and to patch in to Loop Community. And so a lot of times you know, you only feel confident and comfortable with recording a pad, or I don't know if I can record the keys. But just venture out and try to do more things than you are comfortable with. And I promise you, the more that you do this, the more that you you know, get used to recording tracks, you're gonna find new ways to you know, add in certain effects and you know, tweak the audio a little bit in your recordings to where it's going to sound better and better and better. When I first started, it was really bad, and from this 1 hour of just putting tracks in, you know, it's not the best thing I've ever heard or ever done, but if you spend a lot of time on this and really give it some good time, you can really make great products for Loop Community, for worship leaders around the nation who are looking for decent quality tracks. And you can also have a reliable source and a library for yourself to use in Prime or to use in Ableton or any other DAW. And these waves too that you exported, by the way, or that we exported, they don't have to just be used in Ableton. If you want to use MainStage or Logic, or you have Pro Tools or GarageBand or Cubase or Reason, whatever you have, you can use, these are just WAV files and they'll go into anything. I've seen guys export the whole song as one thing and then put it into iTunes and use it as a split track in iTunes. And so you can do it that way if you want to. There's a ton of things you can do with this, and I hope that you know, this hour and a half webinar that we've had has been a great time for you to be able to learn how to create tracks, how to add the cues from the cue pack of Loop Community, and how to you know, record your own audio, the types of things that are used. Again, just really quickly here before we go, this is just a Focusrite to i2, and it's just a little interface that I use. It's via USB. You can pick up any USB interface that you like to plug into your computer, and that's going to help big time. This is a standard Key Station 49 from M Audio. This is the keyboard, and that's I just have my standard guitar, and that's what I used to record all this audio today, if that's what you were wondering, the things that we were using. And that's it, guys. Much else can be said about this. It can be really helped out in the emails. If you want to send us an email, again, to support@loopcommunity.com, and we'll be able to answer your questions. We offer one-on-one training, and anything else that you guys would want or need, we'll be able to take care of that there. So I'm going to just go ahead and play this track again from from the beginning, and you guys enjoy this. Be sure to leave us anything in the chat window that you want. Thank you guys so much for attending. Thank you, Matt, earlier to helping us get the Q pack set up. You guys have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.
Intro 4, 5, 6. Verse 4, 5, 6. Pre-chorus 4, 5, 6. Chorus 4, 5, 6. Verse 4, 5, 6. Pre-chorus 4, 5, 6. Chorus 4, 5, 6. Chorus 4, 5, 6. Bridge 4, 5, 6. Bridge 4, 5, 6. End 4, 5, 6.